Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Middle Georgia Spotlight. I'm your host, Jack Ellis. Thank you so much for being with us here on this special edition. I say a special edition of the Middle Georgia Spotlight because we're going to be talking about Juneteenth. As you are aware, in 2021, President Biden signed a document, an executive order, proclaiming Juneteenth as an official federal holiday. And so we've been celebrating Juneteenth for quite some time. And let's make sure that we're clear about that, especially here in Macon, Georgia. But even as early as 1938, the state of Texas issued a proclamation recognizing Juneteenth as a significant day. And by 1979, every state, including the District of Columbia, had recognized Juneteenth in some form, but in 2021 it became an official holiday. But here in Macon and Middle Georgia, Juneteenth had been recognized and celebrated for several years, led by none other than George Muhammad, who is joining us here today to speak about the activities, the significance of, and how we should commemorate and or celebrate Juneteenth. Welcome to our program, George.
Thank you for having me.
Well, like I said, you have been carrying this torch for quite some time, long before it became an official holiday. You and others have trying to get us together once a year to celebrate or commemorate Juneteenth, even though it took place Juneteenth in Galveston, Texas, in June 19th of 1865. But we had a similar thing to happen here in Macon in April of 1865. Tell us about the significance of celebrating Juneteenth and how it relates to Macon and our local area here.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, there's a group called Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center Incorporated, and later it was joined by Torchlight Academy Incorporated. They're both nonprofit organizations. People like Kirkland, Abijah Hodges, Gloria Sisay, Bai Sisay, Regina Muhammad, Dr. Patrice Sapp, Carol Hollings, some of those other, Johnny Marr, some of those other people we all together had Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center. And we had been doing Kwanzaa. Our first year of celebrating or lifting up Kwanzaa, it was 1992 in December, and I was looking at this book by a gentleman. His last name is Anyike, on African American holidays, and it mentioned Juneteenth as the end of slavery, and so that struck me. I've been kind of like a person who's taken kind of a leadership, a catalyst type role with the group, and that's why people know me as a person who led the whole thing. But really, it's just that I'm kind of like a catalyst kind of personality. And I felt what greater thing as Black people should we celebrate was the end of slavery. I thought that we should definitely be celebrating that in Macon. And even though it was a Texas holiday, to me, if that was the end of slavery, quote unquote end, in the United States, well, we should be in Macon, in every place Black people should be celebrating. So that's how it started, and ironically, or by the grace of the Most High, just leading us, divinely guiding us, we started doing this celebration in Tatnall Square Park. We called it the Juneteenth Freedom Festival. Juneteenth is very important for us to recognize. It's more symbolic. Everybody didn't go free after June 19th. A lot of people did, and there are a lot of things that began to change in 1865. The Freedmen's Bureau became in play, and a lot of schools, and the Reconstruction began to really take shape after that period. There still were pockets of people that were still enslaved, certain states that were still holding enslaved people, outliers, so to speak. And even up to today, you still have these things, these weird things that are happening different places for many years. But we just always wanted to highlight and go into studying. It's a very deep topic. It takes a lot of layers. As you said, really everybody has a quote unquote or a Juneteenth. It's not in June, but in 1865, when you look at the history, the same scenario was occurring throughout the country, throughout the South, as the Union troops were moving south. And the war really had pretty much been ended. Macon was still holding on. You had a lot of folk still unwilling to give up. So that's kind of the tip of the iceberg.
But you celebrate Juneteenth and Tatna Square Park, and we'll talk about some of the activities that will be going on there. But the significance of Tatna Square Park is that's where Macon finally surrendered. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. You're getting at that in the first thing. Yeah, and we found that out 16 years ago, roughly about 16, 17 years ago. Let me put it like this. This is our 32nd year, 16 years into our celebration of Juneteenth, or our commemoration. We found out that Macon was surrendered in the very place, Tatna Square Park. The Confederate forces here surrendered to General Wilson in April 20th, 1865. And that was like, wow. So we've been in that same place, having the festival, the Juneteenth Freedom Festival. The reason we chose the park was because of the other kinds of demonstrations, the struggle in Tatna Square Park for Black people to even use the park, to go in the park. We knew in the civil rights movement in the 70s, and 60s, and 70s, there are a lot of sacrifice and struggle was made, and people I heard that were killed and definitely beaten. So when we finally, knowing in our time, we could freely go in the park. And in honor of those people who had made a way for us to have that opportunity, we called it the Juneteenth Freedom Festival. That's how it started. So yes, it's very, very significant. Even many Black Union soldiers were deputized in the park as Black soldiers came into the Union Army late in the war, and really turned the tide at the end of the war with a powerful, very powerful drive to end it because of their morale. It had nothing to lose. And many, many, many were deputized in Tatna Square Park, literally. And they did work, patrolled the streets of Macon in the central Georgia area.
Now, of course, there will be different activities that you all will spearhead throughout the city, and we'll talk about some of those. But how should people commemorate? How should we celebrate? I mean, it's a bittersweet time. Obviously, you want to celebrate freedom, that you were free, but how do you look back and reflect on being enslaved in the first place for so many years? So, in your opinion, how should we celebrate it, and how will you, as an organization, be celebrated throughout this week?
Well, I think first, personally, to meditate and reflect deeply on what was it like, what might it have been like, from what you've read, from what accounts you can find. What was it like for our ancestors? Really connect your mind with that. I think that is more important than anything, really, as far as the idea of a celebration and commemoration. Really feel in your mind what they were going through, and honor that, appreciate that. And not only the idea of suffering, and it's not about taking the role of a helpless person that's just being tortured. Our people also were great achievers. They endured. They were able to overcome. They were ingenious. And then realizing that this is a struggle that has continued for many, many, many long time. I'm talking about going back before slavery, connecting with who are our ancestors, what is the root of our existence as a people. All of that, to me, is a part of what we should do when we say we're commemorating Juneteenth, our freedom. And understand, in the first place, you are divinely ordained as a free being, and you're not a slave. For now, we say enslaved people. For many years, people would say the slave, and as if that's what you are naturally. You just a slave, a Black slave, and in people's minds, they get in this mode like, I'm inferior. But we are not by nature a slave. We're not by nature a people to be oppressed or exploited. So those kinds of, it's a very deep reflection. And then as you come up through time, you connect with what is your obligation then. Today, I'm alive. This is the time, my time in the sun, of physically being here on this planet and in this universe. What should we be doing? What should I be doing? What can I do to give honor to that struggle, to take it forward, to prepare it to take rise as I continue my life? Those are the things to me that one should be, concentrating on, focused on, all around June 19th, and really a year round.
Yeah. We've heard a lot about reparation, and you make the case. When I say you make the case, I think the case is already made. Mm-hmm. We know how people were used, their bodies, their labor, how we toiled, how we made this country what it is, especially the South, and Georgia in particular. Yes, cotton was king. So when you come to reparation, where do you stand? Should that be something that's part and parcel Juneteenth? Should it be part of the celebration? Should we be not looking forward to, but putting some effort toward getting to reparations?
Reparations is due. At the root of the word is repair. The reparations begins with your own soul, with your own mind. We as a person, as a human being, we must be repaired. And this slavery mindset that we are plagued with as a people, this turning in on each other, this self-destructive hate of the color of your skin, yourself, inferiority, sickness. We have to deal with. That's a big part of the repair. However, now on the outside, oh yes, it's due. Reparations is due. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said, y'all owe us the whole GD country. Because with what we built and what we brought, we built this nation. We use the slave labor. And excuse me for saying it like that, but I just want us to really be connected with how serious reparations really is. But again, you can give a lot of money, you can give a lot of land even. People that don't even understand the economic structure, they don't even understand how this capitalism, this system works. We give you money and it'll be right back in your hands next week or next year, that kind of thing. So that's a deep, very deep prospect. But certainly I think
but it should start, though.
It should, absolutely. And then on the other side, with white people or Europeans or folk like that, it needs to be a spirit in their heart. There's a lot of sickness that they need repair. They need repair in a lot of their souls, because to treat anybody the way they treated us and the way they've treated people all over this planet, this very sick behavior of just no respect in themselves, no respect for life, just this madness of violence, this preoccupation with murder and exploiting people and corruption. Being part and parcel, if I said that right, of the way of your culture. They need healing. They need to be repaired.
I want to share something that a white man wrote, the foreword to Frederick Douglass' autobiography, and so bear with a minute. It said it may perhaps be fairly questioned whether any other portion of the population of the earth, not just America, of the earth, could have endured the suffering, the horrors of slavery without having become more degraded in the scale of humanity than the slaves of African descent. Nothing has been left undone to cripple their intellects, darken their minds, debase their moral nature, obliterate all traces of their relationship to mankind, and yet how wonderfully they have sustained the mighty load of a most frightful bondage under which they have been groaning for centuries.
Yes.
So getting back to you said how white people how can you not read that? A witness, this is a man witnesses this, a white man witnesses this. How can you now want to take that out of school books, for instance, in
Right.
this state? How can you not want to have some, we call it equity, diversity, and inclusion? How can you not, if you are a good person? That's what you were talking about,
Right.
how we all have to look within ourselves.
You know, a lot of that is an assumption of a soul that's whole, that has a health to it, if it's not still sick. And that's part of what we're dealing with. A lot of people that really still are very sick. They're sick with with fears and things like that. So it certainly, what you said, it makes it very clear. And this gentleman that wrote it has a sense of a conscience that's awakened. The self-accusing spirit is awakened to bring him to really act as a human, to act with a godly or righteousness about himself. We certainly have had things like there's a Judge Taney. I think they took his statue down up in D.C. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he spoke about making an effort to cut off every avenue of that through which light may enter their minds. That he spoke it, he wrote it. That it should be our objective to cut off every avenue through which light may enter the minds of black people, of Negroes, of these individuals, of these melanated people who had been enslaved. And it's intentional to try and keep them by any way you can back. So that is something that needs to be held in mind as we talk about reparations. Look at all the work that was done. The same kind of, if we really gonna make it right, the same kind of level of effort of healing, of correcting, needs to be given. That same level of energy, that same level of striving needs to be, that was done to be done wrong, needs to now be put toward doing right.
Okay, well, obviously you are, like I said, 32 years that you and your organization have been trying to educate the public as to, the horrors of slavery, how we should celebrate it, how we should commemorate it. Tell us some of the activities that will be going on this week, the entire week of celebration of Juneteenth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's a great honor to be on your show and to have an opportunity to share. And we, throughout the week, every year, we strive to have an entire week, at least, Georgia Juneteenth week. We connect with Pleasant Hill because of its great historical significance. The Pleasant Hill neighborhood, the many, many institutions and luminaries that have come through that neighborhood, and even today are buried in Linwood Cemetery, sacred ground. So we start with the Pleasant Hill neighborhood reunion, and then we are moving two events. The reunion is Saturday, June the 8th, from noon to 5, striving to help the revitalization of Pleasant Hill with all that it's struggling against. But then we have also on Sunday, June 9th, at 3 p.m., a genealogy workshop at St. Peter Claver in the Catherine Drexel Center. That's at 3 o'clock again on the 9th. We're having a nature walk for health and health, peace, and wisdom at Ocmulgee National Monument. We're looking at some of the connections between Native people and Black or melanated peoples, and just settling your mind, getting your mind to be healed. We're having Black History tours, van tours, Monday through Thursday, from Monday the 10th through Thursday the 13th. That start at Terminal Station at 6 p.m. each day. People can call 478-718-8067 to get on one of those tours. We're having a hip hop summit on Friday, June the 14th, about the real original hip hop art forms, the break dancing, the MC, DJing, the things that really were very beautiful art form that unfortunately have been distorted and hijacked in years since. But we want to keep that in the minds of the youth and show them what real that hip hop art form, just like jazz and other art forms, is. We're going to have the Juneteenth Freedom Festival for 2 days in Tappan Square Park, God willing, and that's Saturday and Sunday.
That's the 16th, 17th?
15th and 16th.
15th and 16th.
June 15th and June 16th. from 1 to 9 on Saturday and from 3 to 9 on Sunday. And that's basically lots of exhibitions about our history, enriching types of experiences, live music, performing arts, African dance. Terry Gila Axum's group is coming again with Dancehall Productions, and they do African dance. It's like dance theater. Last year they did a tribute to Harriet Tubman in their presentation. So they're going to close it out on Saturday evening. On Sunday, it's a Fathers and Family celebration because it's Father's Day. We want to encourage people to celebrate Father's Day in the park. And we have some very beautiful experiences out there for people. It's going to be an awesome concert at the end at 7:30. David Sanchez, Latin Jazz Ensemble. He's a Grammy Award-winning Latin artist from Puerto Rico. And some of the great music we'll have, going through that park for a free concert. And just want to also remind people about the parade. This is going to be at 3 o'clock on downtown Macon, and we have a Juneteenth parade. We collaborate with Macon Black Culture. There's a group of younger affiliation, a younger association, and they're doing a lot of activities that extend up to the 19th. They're ending with in Greenwood Bottom in the area of Hazel Street. They're having a barbecue, and so and that's going to be on the 19th. And they're going to be giving away barbecue. They're going to be having a lot of special activities. So they're doing some other programs. All of them I'm not familiar with, but we partner with them. We are striving to show and build that unity, and generationally to show the continues, because we are going to have people to continue what we've started in our time. So that's basically the essence of the week, the main things that we'll be doing.
So you want to educate, you want to commemorate, and you want to celebrate.
Right.
So
and inspire.
And inspire.
Yes, sir.
In other words, we want to have this connection with our ancestors,
Absolutely.
if you will, and give respect to them and recognize the horrors that they went through. So that's the connection that you were talking about. We have to connect with them.
Today, one of the biggest things, in public schools, it's just such a heavy political thing. You don't teach Black history and all this stuff. Our children and our grandchildren and many of the youth, the younger generations, are not being exposed to the history that would empower them to really know who they are. And it affects the way you act. It affects your engagement civically. It affects so many. It affects you as a father. It affects you as a mother. It affects you as being able to how you would guide your family. It affects your level of striving and your values.
Yeah.
We get caught up on just money, on materialism, and then we don't understand also the crucial need to be in unity and not tearing each other apart, which we have allowed to happen, that divide and conquer over and over again. You see it play out locally, politically this year. We still have not learned those lessons. And so we really, there's so much for us to learn from this vehicle of Juneteenth.
And I want to get your point. We have about 2 minutes left, but get your idea. White people must understand is that we are not about hating them by teaching our history, that we're not trying to make them feel guilty.
That's right.
We're not hating on them. We want our people to know. We want Black people and want them to know.
Right.
And they should want to know about the history of this country.
Right.
And about the people who have built this country, that people that they see walking around every day that look like, people that look like you and I, and to know that they just didn't show up here.
That's right.
That they came, for the most part, through the enslavement of a people.
Yes, it's a very complex and difficult interaction. But justice, when you talk about reparations, you're striving to bring about justice. The question, Thomas Jefferson spoke about. He shudders in his fear about that justice can't sleep forever. His fear that knowing if one day when justice comes about, it is going to be something very serious. So being able to have also realized that for whether you're white or Latino or Asian or Indian, this experience that these people who were chattel in this country went through is very much important, that you respect it and that you realize that something has to be done to heal us all. So we have great lessons to learn from it. That's just the bottom line. So we can't keep running away from it, and we're not here to beat up any white people or to cast them into the sea of whatever. It's about, if we really want to do better and we ever want to live up to what it means to be a human being, we're gonna have to be honest. We're gonna have to be sincere.
Truth and reconciliation. That's what Nelson Mandela, after he was in prison for 27 years, that's what the hallmark of South Africa, to get races together. Truth, first of all, deal with truth. Then you can have reconciliation. But first of all, we must deal with the truth. Yes. And speaking of a white gentleman, here's another one, Mr. O'Connell. This was in Ireland in 1848, and he's speaking. He said, no matter, he said, Mr. O'Connell, under what special terms it may be disguised itself, slavery is still hideous. It has a natural and inevitable tendency to brutalize every noble faculty of man. Mm-hmm. This is coming from a white man speaking. Absolutely. So if we take that and extrapolate it out 400 years, that of course people would then say, and then Jim Crow put on another 100 years of Jim Crow, then I think people would understand reparation is in order.
That's right. And it's due.
It's in order and it's due.
And it's due.
Well, I'll give you the last word. What would you like to say to the people celebrating Juneteenth as we approach the Juneteenth celebration?
I would like to say that it's our Juneteenth, and it should be significant to our community. We ask for your support, and we ask for your presence and your participation, and let's all come together. But we always try to bring something very special for the community. We work really hard to bring beautiful cultural experiences for the people that are healing and good for your family. So we ask your support, that you will come out and take part of it, that come out and enjoy it. Seek it out and also support it. And definitely the corporations, the individuals, businesses, as well as corporations, support the work that we are doing and that others are doing to bring something of beautiful substance out of what Juneteenth is and our work in the community. We need that support, and I think it's due, because our people need to be healed.
Well, we want to thank you very much for your efforts throughout the years, 32 years out here, trying to get all of us to understand the importance of celebrating and commemorating Juneteenth. And now that we have a national holiday, June 19th, every year, that we should all celebrate. And of course, we thank you for your work.
All praise is due to God. Thank you.
Thank you. And we thank you all for joining us here this week on the Miller, Georgia Spotlight. And we ask all of you, white and black, Hispanic, no matter what, celebrate this holiday. Get to know why we celebrate it. Just as we celebrate Holocaust Day, we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, we celebrate a lot of other days that everyone comes together. So we ask that we have the diversity in celebrating this holiday, but especially people of African descent. Get to know this holiday. Get to know why we celebrate it, and discuss it in your home with your children. Don't wait for the school system to teach you what's in these books, what Frederick Douglass talked about, what Martin Luther King spoke about, and what George Muhammad is speaking about today. Until next week, I'm your host, Jack Ellis. Goodbye.